Nice hairdo, man.
On my new look called Bedhead.
Feeling a little bit defeated today. Have a large shipment of grains out. It's gonna be for our first brew, which is pretty exciting. But I'm just feeling a little bit defeated today. So I'm gonna start my day with what is this, can of Starbucks coffee. Try to summon the energy to move all those grains and stay concentrated for our first brew. Today's Valentine's Day. Started with a nice session at the gym. And here I just had to make a pit stop to move all these ingredients so we can prep for our brew on Thursday. So I've got Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got 3 days left. It's gonna be a lot of cleaning, moving. Guys, a little tour of what I want to be moving today. Got some 55-pound grains from Wireman. Opposite side, we got some more grains here for our pilot brews. Grains that we need for our pilot brew, but you know, it's always good to stock up and have more than you need. Yeah, things are just a little bit overwhelming, you know, and things just haven't really been going quite as well as I had hoped. Things are really starting to stack up, and the pressure is just kind of like, work pressure is not something that really affects me so much. I'm really good at managing that, but I think just maybe a lot of personal things are kind of stacking up as well. Hard to find the motivation to do things sometimes this past month. Moving the sack of grains is nothing. Physically, I can dominate this task, but it's gonna take me about a 5 or 10 minute coffee break to just think about what I've got to do before I do it. Find the motivation to do it. Lately, I have this crippling anxiety. Like it's a crushing weight, actually. It feels like a crushing weight that. All right, guys, I just moved everything in, and everything's on the floor. So the grains and the hops for about 3 600-liter brews. Quite a bit more stuff than I had expected. Gotta find a place for all this stuff. Gotta stack it on this pallet here somewhere. I think I'm gonna move all the grains up this ladder and move it up there. But as you can see, there's a lot of stuff up there, so I'm gonna have to move all that shit over there. And once it's moved way up there, I'll move the grains up here. Maybe I'm gonna fail. Failure is not such a terrible thing because you can just keep chipping away at it until it gets better. But maybe what's worse than failure is I just feel so unmotivated right now. Like I think maybe I'm just nervous, you know. I'm a home brewer and now I'm trying to be a professional brewer. So this is kind of brewing at a large scale, which I've never done before, which is kind of scary. When I first started doing business like 10 years ago, I started with finger tape, actually, jiu-jitsu finger tape. Who would have known? But I was the only guy who was selling it, and because I was the only guy who was selling it, it sold really well. But when I first quit my job, I quit my job in consulting. I had a really nice, cushy job. No one wanted me to quit. Like, my father told me it was a terrible idea. All my coworkers, my boss tried to keep me on, making it a little bit more difficult to quit. My wife and my mother were cool with it. They thought it was great that I had the motivation to try something new, and I had their full support, which I think really helped me in the long run to actually pull the trigger. Because quitting my job was actually, at that age, I mean, how old was I? Like 25, 26, 24? I was about 24 or 25 when I decided to quit my job and just go on this idea of doing my own business. And I wouldn't recommend doing it the way I did it because I didn't have any money saved up. So I had a lot of pressure on my shoulders then when I first started my business in 2012. Of course, I wasn't just selling finger tape. I was also doing like an online membership website that had to do with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, when people would meet me and find out what I do, because in America, when you meet someone, you're like, hey, what do you do for a living? It's one of the first questions that people ask you. No one's gonna think that I'm gonna be the next Mark Zuckerberg. But I mean, that really wasn't my aim. I didn't have to be Mark Zuckerberg. I just had to really enjoy what I was doing. And at the time, I really did enjoy the aspect of building that business. It was a lot of fun for me. And I was broke. I couldn't pay rent. I had to borrow money to pay rent. I was in debt. I could never go out to eat, so I didn't have any friends. Like, I just had jiu-jitsu friends because that's the only place I could really go to hang out. And it was actually such a stark was such a stark difference from the life that I was living before. It was rather embarrassing, really. It was embarrassing. I felt ashamed that people might know that I'm so broke, and you start to feel like a loser when you're broke. Yeah, you definitely do. And I remember when I first started the business, I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of, I guess maybe some self-confidence issues too, since it was my first time doing a business. And maybe one of the most hurtful things I had ever heard at that time was from one of my training partners. Of course, I was training like 3-4 times a day. My level of jiu-jitsu was just skyrocketing so quickly because I just dedicated all my time and effort into this sport. My goal at the time was to become a world champion. Those were the good days. Training partner just gets smashed a lot more than usual. I mean, we used to train a lot, but he just looks at me with this face of scorn and he says, "Yeah, I'm not just some bum that does jiu-jitsu all the time." And that was just shortly after I had quit my job and moved out to San Diego. And I still remember the look on his face because it just really hurt, just pierced right into my heart and hit me right in the nuts. No, we made up and, we were friendly after that, but like 30 of these fucking bags. Oh, you got cleaned up. Thanks. I've moved about 3 bags and I've got about 25 more. Ready for this? It's by far the heaviest box of them all. And it's the last one. Oh my God. It's filled with heavy objects. How do I do this?
Up first.
I could. Or I could do it all at once.
Sounds like a dawn plan.
Oh yeah, it's heavy. Oh.
No.
Alright.
오빠는 참 힘들게 산다 이런 거 보면 그냥 뭐 왔다 갔다.
Oh yeah. Wait, get out of the way, get out of the way. So when I first began business, or even just maybe 3 years ago, I was so highly motivated to just work until I burn out and try to retire young. But this pandemic had, I guess, other plans. Things have just not been going well this past few years, and it's kind of weird to always have somewhere you need to be, somewhere you need to go, something you need to do every minute of the day. And then the pandemic hits and all of a sudden you're seated at a table and you just have nothing to do because all of your plans just fall apart and all of your events are done for. The stuff that you're working at is maybe half as good. It's not that it's half as good, it's just that it's half as effective. And so I got a lot of free time here about 2.5 years ago. And that's right about the time I started making these videos, just to get better at editing and get better at crafting a story, it seemed like a productive way and a good hobby for me to pick up to pass the time. Now that it's been 2 years since the pandemic has passed and I'm here, rather than sitting idle, I thought it'd be good to do this brewery, which I don't regret. Just when I first opened my business, there was a lot of hardships, so I thought I'd share a little story about when I first opened my business in 2012. All right, we got a lot of space up here, but we got to move all that stuff that we moved from up there up here. And we just got to reorganize a little bit. Ready? Oh! The grains are officially in place. This is the shittiest grain storage because we have to use a ladder to get up there. But we got the job done, and now we just have to brew on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, we ran some grains through the auger to clean it.
Is it really oily?
No, not really.
It's pretty clean.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll run it here maybe 2 or 3 times just to make sure. It's a little messy here right now. Oh shit, I need a bigger trash can. When I'm feeling down or finding it hard to have the motivation to do really simple things, I sit down and I think about, now listen, I don't know if this is like the best way to go about motivating yourself, but this is probably the best way I happen to found for myself that it's a method that works for me. I sit down and I think about how much worse life could fucking be. Like, it could be fucking terrible. Like, I'm sitting here in a cozy ass brewery. I've got air conditioning, a running toilet. I can go cook myself something in the kitchen. I mean, obviously life could be much worse. But I really dial in and think about, I go down a list and think about all the things that could be so much worse. And if you think about all the things that can be so much worse, you immediately find things that you should be grateful for and happy for. And those things are definitely worth fighting. So, I mean, if you're ever at a time where you're really struggling, you gotta tally up a list of all the things that makes life great. And it gives you the motivation to get up and do shit you don't wanna do. All right, guys, I tended to everything I need to tend to here at the brewery. Yeah, I'm gonna go get cleaned up. I haven't showered yet. I'm gonna go get cleaned up and come back here. The engineer's gonna come here to check up on a couple things, so I wanna meet with him. On a special mission today, because it's Valentine's Day. I'm headed off to the mall to go pick up a special gift for Valentine's Day. A little bit of last minute shopping, but I already know what she wants, so that makes everything a lot easier. Kind of like our go-to spot when we have special occasions. We come here to get sushi. Come here all the time. I think I've vlogged about this place before, but you know, it's a staple. We come here, we keep coming back. The marinade of the fish here is super good. Sushi is really good quality. Sushi is really good value, especially for lunchtime. So we eat here pretty much quite frequently. Tuna's my favorite.
나는 튜나 별로 안 좋아해.
And when she came in here, I knew she was looking for something. She knew I was gonna grab her a gift for Valentine's Day.
Is it funny? 와 진짜 너무 웃긴다. Wow. What is this? Oh, you got me a knife?
So here in Korea, it's not uncommon for them to serve you the fish with the head still attached. Gnarly. But the thing that sucks about these little fishes is there's so many bones inside them. You gotta be careful. Yes.
What do you call this fish?
This guy's name is Joge. Joge's a little bastard. He's full of little needles inside. You see that one? If you bite into it, it's gonna stab you in the mouth.
Good here. I don't know.
You got stabbed in the mouth?
Yeah, in my tongue. I want to fillet this fish for you, 오빠. 아 조금만.
Man, it's taking forever.
아 조금만 이따 갈래?
I'm getting hungry.
Oh here.
Joge.
조기.
Jogi.
조개는 shellfish이라고.
Sorry guys, his name is Jogi, not Joge. No, Americans don't know.
Why do Americans have to know the Korean name of this fish?
Because we're eating it in Korea, obviously.
Everyone knew except for you, I think. So we go to sushi place and say, I want a jogi.
Damn, that looks tasty.
맛있게 드세요. 맛있게 잘 먹었어?
Yeah, it's good food.
I got something for you.
Oh yeah? What is it?
What could it be?
I already know what it is. Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Galaxy Buds 2, baby. Samsung. No, I used to have the AirPods. I still have them, but they're a little bit old. So I can't even like go a workout without them dying on me. But these AirPods have gotten so cheap now. Like they have noise canceling for a really good price, and they might be a little bit worse than AirPods, but I mean honestly, these are good enough.
Do you need my help?
Oh, there's a sticker on their side too. Damn. That's it.
Do you like the color?
I do.
오, 칼을 선물 받았어요, 도마랑. 요리를 더 열심히 해야 될 이유가 생겼네요. 요즘에 좀 요리에 대한 열정이 식었는데. 핸거스 나이프예요. 와우, 이렇게 비싼 칼을 쓰는 걸 알게 되면 엄마하고 남동생이 비웃을 것 같아요. 전 요리를 잘 못하는데 칼만 좋은 거 쓴다고. 이거 감 자르기엔 너무 크다. 잘 쓸게. 고마워. 오빠. 안녕하세요.
Maybe we shouldn't be going to other breweries on our very few days off, but spend enough time at our own place.
Yeah, I know.